going to highlight you. I'm going to highlight you so you're like the main person, kind of that we see, right? Cool.
Cool.
Everybody sees Julie.
Hi, thanks for joining me tonight, everyone. We're all like, wow, I remember this. This reminds me of 2020. It's bringing it back, getting on the Zoom.
Yes, yes. So right now we have about 10 people here. So excited to have everyone. Betty is here, Crystal Carter, Emily Lowe, Heather Williams, Renee Callender, Raven Moore, Marie Lusant, not Toussaint, but Lusant. Tracy Thomas is here. So excited to have everyone here. And we have Julie, who is our guest and main speaker tonight, who's going to be talking to us about brand sponsorship. And, met Julie, just an amazing person, met her from the Momentum Education community. For those of you who don't know about Momentum Education, it is really a personal and professional development organization. And if you're interested in really growing and really changing your life and have a mindset shift, you can definitely participate in the Momentum Basic, Advanced, and Leadership training course. I met Julie in leadership. I took advanced probably in 2019 before the pandemic. So a lot of people in my advanced class had already taken leadership, but I was so excited to be a part of 208, leadership team 208, because, for me, numbers is a big thing. And, like 208, I never said this to the team, but together those numbers stand for 10. And to me, that's like the perfect number, perfect 10. So we're a great group, but met Julie, and Julie is just a wealth of knowledge and information. I know she's going to tell you a lot about herself, but she's definitely someone who has, been able to get a lot of brand sponsorships for herself and for her business. She's, she's had her hands in a lot of different things from digital marketing and, really she's now blowing up with her healthy cooking business, teaching people how to really be able to eat healthier, cook healthy meals in a short amount of time. I mean, I've downloaded her cookbook. It's amazing. The meals look great. I haven't tried any yet, but I'm looking forward to trying some of them because they're quick and easy. And I know most of us are really busy and we don't have time to do a lot of that, cooking and all of that stuff. But her cookbook will definitely put you on track. Julie has been on a lot of television shows. She's gotten a lot of media attention. So she's definitely someone that can help you get brand sponsorships. And I think this is something that all of us are looking for. And with social media kind of, and, I tell a lot of people that are part of, my network for women in business that social media changed the game. It kind of leveled the playing field. And with a lot of people spending more time on social media, getting more of their news and information from social media, brands are now looking for different ways to be able to promote their products and services. So they're going directly to the people that have audiences, that really, have built followings, to be able to position themselves to become partners with them, to pay them to get their products and services out there to the marketplace. So they look for groups that have affinity and all of that stuff. But I don't want to step too much into Julie's presentation because Julie is the expert on this, and I am definitely going to let her take the wheel and just give us all of her juicy knowledge and information, and we're just going to soak it all in. So Julie, why don't you take it
Thank
away?
you. Thank you, everybody, for joining too. And I want to start out by reassuring you that you do not have to be an influencer. You don't even have to have an Instagram account to partner with brands. So I just want to get that like right out of the way, because I think there's a lot of pressure out there sometimes for people where they think, oh, I don't, maybe as entrepreneurs, I'm assuming many of us here are entrepreneurs, we kind of get in our own way and in our own heads. And we think, I don't have enough. I'm not enough, but you are enough. And I guarantee tonight we're going to come out of this chat with lots of ideas for you about the kinds of brands you can approach and the kinds of brand partnerships you can look for, whatever platform you're on and wherever you have impact. So what I was saying as we were getting started, right before we started recording, I really like to think about this as partnering with brands for sponsorship for revenue, but also to increase your impact in the world. And we're going to talk about different ways that you can do that. I do have some notes that I'm debating if I want to screen share. I might just chat from them because I want to make this really conversational and warm and welcoming so you can all pipe up with questions and things. And I'm going to send these notes to you afterwards too. But something that's good to know about when you are, especially if you're all working in a field where you're selling things to people, I'd love to hear, if we can, in the chat. Are you all coaches? Are you like, do you have a service or a product? Are you community activists? Just so I can kind of get a sense and tailor what I'm going to talk about with you and start to put ideas in your head. Business strategist, cool. Author and artist, Heather. I know some of you here, I'm cheating. I'm in Momentum as well. It is an amazing program. Years of therapy, all the personal development books. You do a 3-day weekend with Momentum and you're going to be like, what?
Exactly. Exactly.
Basically, educator and coach. I love all of us. We're all multi-talented, multi-hyphenated women. Do some of you find when you go to say what you do, you're like, and this and this and this and this and this, right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay, that was helpful. And we're going to pause and I'll take questions as we go throughout. But the thing to remember with brand partnerships too, that's great, is for anyone who has worked corporate before, and I'm going to introduce myself in a sec, but I want to kind of like give you the lay of the land first. They have a lot of trying to remember which title to, yeah, I have like 5 different bios, depends on who I'm emailing. It's okay. It's what we're doing, right? We're all nimble. We're all nimble. We know the pivot. We can be different things in different audiences. And that's the power in all of it. We get to show up as we want to in the world and create the impact we want to have. So like I said, you don't have to be an influencer to partner with brands. And the thing to remember that's beautiful about it is brands have big budgets. They have a lot of money. And if you're comfortable and I can help get you comfortable with negotiating with them and talking to them, you can actually make the big, bold, juicy ask of a brand that you might have a hard time asking another individual. Like if you're selling something to people, for some of us, we're selling like coaching to individuals where you might start to bump into those feelings of like, oh, I feel badly about this person. When you're talking about a marketing budget of a big company, if you approach them the right way, the opportunity is huge. And there are lots of different ways we can approach them. I'm going to talk to you about that too. It can be pretty easy. Food and beverage entrepreneur. Cool, Marie. Hold on one sec. I'm so glad you piped in. There we are. Healthcare, cultural and foodie events. Oh, Marie, we got to talk. When I tell you what I do for a living right now. Yeah. And volunteer president for a nonprofit. Okay. I'm trying to remember which title to pick. Sorry, I was just checking out the chat. Okay. It's very easy to wind up with recurring income when you're working with brands when you find the right fit, because what I'm going to talk to you about is how you're going to position yourself to them as a brand ambassador. So instead of going for like a one sponsorship of one event or a one hit situation, we're going to talk about finding the right brands that align with you and your talents and your audience and what you're doing so that you can work it into a recurring thing, because we all want recurring income, right? Every month, that paycheck coming in, every month, reliable income. And that's like really the goal for me when I'm working with brands. Something to remember that we as digital marketers, or people that some of you, if you are using social media, brands are really slow to catch on. The people running the brands are like, I'll be honest, like slightly older dudes who are like, oh, TikTok's for kids and blah, blah, blah. And they're not thinking about how they could be having more impact. So it gives us a lot of power because we can show up as the hero in the story or the heroine in the story, since it's all women here, and bring solutions to them to help their marketing managers and their marketing teams look like heroes. I'm going to get into that too, about who you try to find in the company and the brand, how to talk to them so that they know you understand their language and that you're there to help them. Something I'll go back to a lot for everyone to always remember, always. It can feel intimidating for some people. I've coached women who haven't worked corporate before and they feel funny reaching out to like a brand manager or marketing manager, but it's just another person with a family and a life and rent to pay and stress and job stress, right? So always remember the human element in everything we're doing. We're working to get budget from a big company, ideally, But the marketing manager who's in control of that budget, they have their own worries and concerns in their life too. And the more we can understand that, if anyone has done any ideal client kind of work where you're defining like who you're helping and how you're serving them, it's no different when you're working with a brand. You're just thinking, this person needs to prove to their boss that they've reached so many people. This person needs to prove to their boss that they've used their budget in a good way so that they look like a hero in their company and they feel secure. So just always be thinking that way when don't get intimidated by brands. It's just another human being that you're talking to. Something to warn you about some brands, if they're large, they can be slow to make decisions. So if you have like a big event, is somebody asking a question? Or is that just like someone?
I think it's random.
Okay, cool. If you're planning an event for December, you're going to start talking to the brands now because, they've got like, oh, this one's on vacation. That one's out of the office, that one. So just be aware of that. They're fast to give product though. And I want to talk to you about that and how, and I'm sure we've all been at events with cool swag bags and that's fun, but there are other ways to get free from brands that can add value to your work and your audience or lighten your own budget when you're doing different things. So always have in the back of your head that getting budget from a brand is going to require a little bit more work and fishing, right? Think about it. Someone's got to cut that check. Getting free from a brand, oh, they're ready to give free away all the time or give discounts away all the time. So always be thinking about that. It's easier for someone at a brand to get approval to give you something free than to get budget money for you. So we'll talk more about that too. The other thing that's really cool, for those of you who are building your own platforms, whether it's on social media or community service or your email list, like I do all of the different things, you can also be looking for brands that will cross promote you. And remember, there's value in that, right? Now you're not paying for someone to promote you. So sometimes you can do a project with a brand where you don't do it for compensation, but you do it and you say, can you please include my profile and a link to my services in your email newsletter to 10,000 people? Like you're almost bartering with your skills and your work to help them put you in front of more people to build your own platform. And now you have more power and more of an audience the next time you approach another brand. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's that like currency exchange you can do there. So quick background, I just wanted to kind of pull you into the lay of the land. I started out my career as an engineer tech consultant. I was a total nerd girl. I made toilet paper in a manufacturing plant. I worked corporate for 10 to 12 years. I did a whole bunch of random jobs that I really didn't care about. And the whole time I really just wanted to work in food. I just wanted to cater or have a B&B, or I couldn't figure it out. Here I was in corporate America in the 90s, not many women in tech back then. And, a lot of expectations that I should stay that way. But I'm so thankful that I bravely career changed when my daughters were little and went to culinary school. And right out of the gate, I got into working with brands. And I think for me, it was the corporate background. Have many of you worked corporate, or are many of you like a mix of skills? I'd love to hear, because always be thinking too about any corporate experience you do have or anything you've done in a company that is going to come in really handy for you. So once I career changed and went to culinary school, I started writing recipes for brands. I started shooting videos for brands. And this was before the term content creator was a thing. But I want you, as you're thinking about your own skill sets too, are you a great writer? Could you be writing blog posts for brands? Are you an artist? Could you be creating art for brands for their things? Like think about the talents you have that you could also be offering to them. So it's like a two-way exchange, right? We could be looking for them to sponsor us or pay us to do something, or we could be providing something to them. Once I started doing content creation and partnering with brands that way, my following did start growing because I was working with them. I was doing things with like Weight Watchers, creating these wellness cruises so their members would follow me. Now food brands that wanted to reach the Weight Watchers audience said, oh, Julie, will you write a recipe featuring our product? We want the Weight Watchers women to know about us and buy it. So my career kind of evolved that way. I then did take a step. I hired, and every now and then we all know this, right? We need to invest in ourselves and our businesses to kind of up level a bit to get to the next level. So, for any of you who maybe you are intimidated by, say, social media or digital marketing, maybe it's a good idea to buy take a course or hire a coach to help you, just to up level. At a stage in my career, I hired a publicist. She was amazing. And she got me on air experience because it was something I never did a video or a TV segment or anything until my mid 40s, everyone. So for anyone who's looking at a career change or like taking the leap and doing something totally different later in life, that was something that I did. But by doing that step, it created a new platform or avenue where I could show brands how they could work with me. And that's another thing to be thinking about all the time in your work. What are you already doing in your work where you could bring an opportunity to a brand, and be thinking of it that way? If you're hosting community outreach events, could you be having featuring their product in some way or their service in some way, or giving it away, or doing a demo of it if it's like a software? Or if you're a coach or a teacher in some way, are there tools or software or things that you use that you could weave into your teachings and tell the brand, oh, you'll be my preferred partner, you'll be my designated go-to, I'll create an affiliate situation with you? So it kind of be thinking about it that way too. So when you're going to do brand outreach, and we're going to brainstorm in a little bit with each of you what kinds of brands that you could reach out to that would make sense with what you're doing right now in your career and moving forward. You can do your own research. You can just sleuth around. Often the marketing team is named on their website, or just a Google search for press releases about a brand you admire or someone you want to partner with. If you can find who their PR firm is, they'll often say for media inquiries, and you'll see that name and email listed. And then that's a great place to find them. Sometimes brands, like I said, they're working with PR firms. You can use your own personal contacts, right? You can also go on social media, and trust me, I've actually wound up working with a brand. They do like gluten-free snack foods and chocolate chips and things like this. I had a TV segment coming up. I was making these cool brownies. They were like gluten-free brownies or whatnot. And I was like, what brand would be a good size that I could get? I'm not going to reach out to Nestle because who knows how many layers of people I'm going to have to go through. But I found a really cool, they're called Enjoy Life Foods. You might have seen them. They have like a turquoise packaging. But I just messaged them. I just DM'd them over Instagram and said, hey, I have a really cool opportunity to bring you where I can bring you on air and get you in front of a lot of people. So for any of you who are hosting any kind of live events of any kind, or your email newsletter or your blog or anything you're doing, your teachings, your coaching, if you have a brand you think that would be a good fit, you can direct reach out to them right over Instagram. Now, chances are the person replying to the DMs is not the person you want to talk to. Let's whoever's sitting there doing that is probably not the person who owns the budget, but they know who it is. And all you do, you just chat. It's human connection. Hi, I have a huge opportunity I'd like to present to you and your marketing team. Can you let me know who I should email and reach out to? And they'll often just say, oh, sure, it's Beth Carter at brand.com. And then you start the conversation. So it's like, it's almost like dating. Like you want to get out of the DMs and into the inbox, you want to like up level because you can have a more serious conversation in the email inbox, and then you request the call if you want to. So that's kind of the progression I usually use to teach people how to reach brands and how to start to find the right people. The other way you can do this, if you're not getting a reply on DMs, if you've been like doing that kind of outreach on social media, it is kind of like dating. You can woo them. You can reply to their, comment under their posts. If it's like an actual consumer goods product you want to work with, you could say like, oh, I love using this if it's like a software brand. Just about everybody is on social media now, even like all of the main like email marketing platforms. If you wanted to represent one of those, like even service providers, it's not just like physical products. You can meet people at industry events. I mean, I know we're all big networkers here, right? If you're here on a Zoom call on a weeknight, you're a networker, you're a striver. Don't stop going to those in-person industry events. And who you're going to talk to at them is some of the sponsors. Because if they have a sponsor table set up at an event that services your industry, you're an immediate good fit probably to partner with them. And you can talk to them and say, oh, this is what I do for a living. Can I grab your card? I often host events, or I coach, or I teach, or I do outreach to this community. And now you've started a relationship. They've met you in person. They know you're a good person, and you stay in touch with them. You can also, like I was saying, bring opportunities to them, because they don't know what to do. As Tony kicked this off saying, many of us are of an age when we remember like all the ads were in magazines or on a TV show or on a radio spot. And the world changed really quickly for everybody, including all of those marketing PR firms, brand managers. And they don't know how to get the word out anymore either. They're struggling, right? So if you can make the rain and show up for them and say, I have a way to get you in front of 20,000 women who XYZ, or 5,000 business owners who XYZ, that brand is going to be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, this is amazing, because I've been wondering how the heck I'm going to tell my boss I reached 500. They're being measured by something, right? If you're a marketing manager, your boss might be saying, I want you to reach 50,000 urban women in the next 6 months. And they're sitting there going, how do I do that with a billboard? Like, no, there's no outlet. So we bring it to them. You can congratulate them when they have a press release. It's literally like dating. I'll reach out to a brand and say, congratulations, I saw you were doing this. Da, 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 da. Then they know you're a fan. I often also lead with, I'm a brand fan, because if they're going to partner with you, they want to know that you actually like their product or their service. We're not just doing this just to do this, right? We're doing this because we believe in this. We're not going to bring something to our audience that we don't actually believe in. Like I said, paying attention to what they're doing is a really good move. If you admire a brand and you'd love to partner with them, or you'd love to have them sponsor an event, if you see that they're starting to mention, our new release is coming out in December, or our new version or whatnot, you reach out and say, hey, I'd love to help you get the word out about what you're doing. You're helping be like forward thinking for what they're doing. I've been talking for a little while. I want to see how is this landing for you all? Are you getting some ideas and some thoughts here?
It absolutely is for me, for sure.
How's everyone else feeling?
This is Crystal. For me as well, I never thought about usually when you're looking for connect with brands, I never thought about like connecting them with events that you're going to be at, so that you're offering them an opportunity to be positioned. It's all, and also looking for most time every time I've seen like a sponsorship package, they're always looking for money. But going after products for your event is an awesome idea, because that can help provide a goodie to your VIPs. That could go a couple of different ways based on what you're doing. So I thought that those ideas were very cool. I never thought about those.
Cool.
I always heard chase the money, like, $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 sponsor, but this makes sense because their item may be able to add another level to your event.
Think about venues too. I went to an event recently where the venue was donated because they wanted to get their venue in front of a certain population, right? Or the community cleanup effort that I was mentioning, how I was using brand partnership. Did I mention that? So I've done some traditional, I've done the influencer stuff, I've done the on air, like the more traditional kind of thing, but I've started using these tools in all areas of my life. And I'm sure you are all like such well-rounded, amazing, impactful women. Like I can just tell if you bothered to show up for this. I was working to organize community cleanups where I live in Jersey City. There's a lot of street trash, and I mean, who wants to go out in the summer in the heat and pick up trash, right? It was kind of a hard sell to get people to want to come out. And I found this cute young couple that were also trying to do the same thing. And they had a little Instagram that they'd started with 15 followers. And I talked to them about it. And I was like, look, like for anyone who does digital marketing, I was like, let's create a way for people to sign up on your email list. So I have them using so if anyone's not doing that yet, something to be thinking about as you're growing your business is grow your own audience, and your own audience can be your email list, and you can just send out a monthly newsletter with what you're up to. Like you can just start an email list with just your friends and family, just to have a way to stay in touch and communicate. Start your social media. What you're doing then is creating multiple avenues for reaching people for your own work and your own purpose. But then it's also, remember, giving a path for a brand to jump right on. We want to give them a runway. We want to be like, here's where I could feature you in my monthly newsletter. Here's where I could feature you in my quarterly workshop here's where I can. So this cleanup group, I was like, here's a good way to get people to come out and volunteer on a hot summer night. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it a happy hour, and we're going to all meet up for a drink afterwards, and people will feel like it's way more social, and it makes it cool to come out and pick up trash, right? So I connected them with some bar owners who are now cross promoting what they're doing, right, on the bar email list And on the bar, you've probably seen these kinds of things, right? Like the postcard about the whatever, but it's growing their following in exchange for stopping at that bar and having happy hour afterwards. And then the bar, just to be nice, threw in free pizza to make everybody excited. So this happens to be for a volunteer gig, but that could absolutely be for whatever it is you're doing too, right? If you want to make a live event you're doing even more fun, maybe you're going to reach out to a place and say, hey, I'm working to put this thing together. Will you help me promote it if I have it at your place? And then they'll often give you a discount on hosting it there too. And they'll be promoting you to grow your list. It's like, it's kind of that two-way street sort of a situation. And that's a perfect example of where, you know, bars and restaurants are struggling. It's not like and I mean, I remember the days when you'd go door to door, right? And you'd be looking for the sponsor for like the school event or the whatever, and they'd give you like a free dinner for two, but even that's hard for restaurants now. But people will share their email list. People will post about you on their Instagram. That doesn't cost them anything. And you're bringing them business. So there's like energy and currency in promotion too. So always be thinking that way when you're looking at who you want to reach out to. I have a friend, this is a good one. I was going to give some little examples. One friend does online courses in teaching adults to play piano. She was a piano teacher. She never worked in a company, corporate at all. She's a young woman. And she is really good on social media. I'm going to say that. She makes really beautiful reels and TikToks and things like that. So whatever skill set you all have, if you're a beautiful writer, if you're a beautiful speaker, if you love to make videos, if you love to be an MC at events or host events, if you love to bring community together, just think about what your talents are that you can bring to brands. But the thing I coached her on how to do, and I do coach in this, if anybody is like on the cusp and they need a little nudge or help in like, how do I approach them? How do I negotiate with them? How do I get budget from them? She was able to go from teaching piano online to, she has a partnership now with Casio keyboards, and they're paying her 5 figures a month just to be her preferred keyboard in her teaching program. So for people that are teachers, you know, Heather, I'm going to call you out because I know you. Maybe there's some like art supply company that you really admire, or an art supply store that you really admire and you love. And you're like, you know what? I'm an artist who is in galleries and my work is in demand and I'm esteemed and people follow me, people trust me. I'm an art teacher and I'm a professional artist. And if you come out of the gate saying my preferred, I'm just going to throw out Blick because it's the first one that came to mind, but like my preferred place to go to buy my supplies for myself and for my students is Blick. And here's why. Like Blick is going to say, oh my gosh, like I would love to have like a professional actually talking about us and promoting us. And even if at beginning, they're just giving you a discount on product to offer to your students or for yourself, eventually it's like, again, you just like work your way up, right? You start out with that and then you're like, hey, now I'm doing this thing and can you, but also think big brands that would actually have like a good amount of, I don't know the names of like, I know there's some standard ones with like the paint colors and the oil paint tubes, but like a company like that, they don't know how to get the word out. I think that sometimes as entrepreneurs, we feel like, oh, I can't approach them. They are struggling. They are worried that they're going to go out of business and lose their jobs. And if you can bring them rain and you can bring them an audience and you can help bring them sales, they're going to be happy to pay you to do that, right? Free product, free sponsorship, ideally money and sponsoring you to talk about them or promote them. I have another friend, Mariah. She was a graphic artist, like in a company, hated her job, quit to be a freelance graphic artist and was really stressed out managing all the freelance projects. But she figured out a way to like streamline things for herself and make money at it. So now she coaches other women to create their own freelance business. And she's doing deals with, it's so cool. It's this group called The Collective. And I think it's an online bookkeeper and tax prep service. So you'd think like, what the heck does a graphic artist know about taxes? And she only has like 5,000 followers. I'm saying only like, but what I'm getting at is she's not a huge influencer type, right? They're paying her monthly to get on there and talk about how she has her taxes done by them. And she tracks her books with them. When she coaches people, she teaches them and she helps them get it set up. And they're paying her 4 or 5 figures a month just to be that preferred person. It has nothing to do with graphic arts, right? But it's a tool she uses in her work. So that brand is like, okay, if you're a fan of ours and you use us and you can bring us in front of other people, we're going to pay you to do that. So think about things like that too. Think about the tools you use to do your job, the things you love to do. Brianne, the piano teacher, I was talking to her about, I was like, if you get your nails done, you should reach out to OPI and be like, you people should be paying me, and I'm going to talk about what nail polish color I'm piano with. Like, you can really do anything you want. You can make it fun, you know, local community, big brand, whatnot. Creating, I'm just skimming some of the ideas. You could do link backs. I don't know how many of you are doing like blogs or email newsletters. For a while, I had a section in my email newsletter. I called it Julie's Faves, and I put friends and fam discounts in there. And some of them were affiliate links, and I disclosed that. Others were purely just to offer my audience a discount. It was just like a feel good kind of a thing. And that's also a really good pinky in with a brand, right? They're almost all totally willing to be like, yeah, I'll give you a 20% discount code for your audience. But then you can start talking to them about actually promoting them, because now you have someone to talk to and you're starting to work with them. So you can start out that way. For those of you, like I was saying, who do live events, you can be representing them at events. You could go to a trade event and represent them. They need people like us to be out there. Oh, sorry.
So Heather raised her hand, and she wanted to come in and ask a question.
Yeah. Thank you for interrupting me. I can chat, as you can all guess. I'm like this in person too.
I love it. So you speaking, I just like, there are these specific tools that I use from like Lowe's hardware store, because I make frames. You speaking and I'm like, what if I contacted that company and I don't know what, like, you know, like I have videos of me using the tools already. And I could totally make more videos. I'm
definitely check out, you know what you can do. I tell everyone when I coach them, creep up on their social media and take a look at what they're doing. And chances are it's lame. Promise. Most brands' social media is pretty lame. It's pretty rare to find one that's fun and engaging. And if they're daring to try TikTok, they're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. So people like us that are creatives, who are gamers, and remember everyone, even if you're not game to be like editing reels and TikToks, you can hire someone, you can hire an intern to help you do it. Right. And then, so Heather, what you can do, you can definitely approach them. You can follow them, start commenting on their stuff. I often like to do, y'all know the term thirst trap. It's kind of like, what if you did like a little free reel TikTok where you were just showing, just for your audience, just for fun, how you build a frame, and then you tag and say, love using all these Lowe's products, they're the best, and send it to Lowe's, send it to them on their Instagram. So you're almost like, see what I could do? I could be promoting you. I use your tools all the time. You're my favorite. You know what I mean? That's a good way to like get interest from them.
So Tracy also has her hand raised. Tracy, you want to say something? You can unmute yourself.
I had a follow-up question because I was just wondering, you actually kind of answered it, Julie. If it's okay to do things for free first. And then I was wondering, if you do it for free, is the brand still going to be interested in like paying you to do it after you've, done that thirst trap?
Yeah, no, I've done that. But what I'll do, I'll often like, I'll say to them, like, I'm happy to collaborate with you this time without budget, but for future collaborations, like to make it clear, like I'll call it like a proof of concept campaign, or but do make sure there's something in it for you. Like, let's not give away the whatever for free. Like, you can put requirements like in exchange for this, you will promote me in XYZ. Like, always remember that angle, because chances are they have their own audience, right? So that's something that I've built in. I'll give you an example. I brought Instant Pot on CBS New York. You guys all know Instant Pot, right? And like this show, CBS, and they were hard to reach. I think they're Canadian, and I couldn't get money out of them. And I finally realized, I was like, all right, I'm going to do a cooking segment on how to cook with an Instant Pot. So I'm going to be bringing them on air and saying their brand name 20 million times. And even if I can't get them to pay me, I'm going to have them promote. I did a giveaway, and I know giveaways are a little old school, but they do still work. People want free stuff, right? So I did a giveaway on CBS New York of an Instant Pot, and the terms were follow me and follow Instant Pot on Instagram. And I also made sure it was in writing with Instant Pot that they were going to reshare on their Instagram. And I think I gained like 3,000 followers in like an hour, so that's currency, because now those followers will help me get another brand. So you can kind of be thinking of them sometimes too as a way to like build your own brand presence in collaboration with. So Tracy, that's like a way to think about it too.
Thank
And
you.
then it's like dating. If you know they're never going to get serious, you're like, fine, I'm going to find another preferred partner. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's kind of, I know I'm using a lot of dating analogies tonight, but it's not going to ruin anything if you do it. Don't give away your skills and talents beyond measure. You're just going to do like something small for free, right? So something that you can put together, I will share screen with this. I had this, like, my notes doc was not a pretty presentation, and I feel like you all would have fallen asleep if you saw this, but I'm going to email it to you so you can skim it. It's all the talking points I went over. But if you were watching me like read through this right now, you'd be like, something you can put together that brands will ask for as you get more serious about this is called a media kit. Have any of you heard that term? Ooh, you know what?
Yeah, I've
Tony,
done it before.
can you help me screen share, Tony, so I can show mine? It's basically a calling card for a marketing manager. It's like a juicy business card with like examples and things in it. Oh, hi, Autumn. I just saw Autumn in there. So you think I can leverage my teacher. We're all friends here. Let's see. Let me try again. Tony, can you give me ability to, oh, okay. I think it's letting me now. You have to kiss a couple of frogs before you get a good sponsor. That's right, Trace. Or you're just like, it's like, okay, you're like, we're not going to get serious. We're just going to be a casual thing until I meet the serious one. Okay, cool. Here, I'll show you my media kit. Now I've been doing this for a while, so don't like. So can you all see this? I always ask this, which is so nerdy, but okay.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. I have very talented designer friends. I'm not designers, but like friends. You can do these in Canva. If any, I'm sure a lot of you use Canva, right, for your designs. If you go in and search media kit template, one's going to come up. So what you're going to want to put, your beautiful face for sure. A quick sentence about just like who you're going to help them reach, especially if you have a specific thing that you're doing or a specific talent. So you could say, I'm an educator and artist with who serves a community of XXXX number. And by the way, I tally up like everybody everywhere. And no, I don't worry about like, oh, if people follow me on Facebook, they probably follow me on Instagram and they're probably my newsletter. It's 3 different hits. They all get head counted separately. It's all reach, right? So you're just going to tally up everywhere you exist, everywhere you speak, everywhere you send an email, every Facebook follower. You can also post this on your personal Facebook, especially if you're doing things where your local community would be into what you're doing. And then here, this is again, once I was in it for quite a while, but I sort of, people read bullet points, right? No one's going to read a lot. So you want to like get right in their face. Like, this is what I do. Over, 1,000 students served, 200 company, whatever it is your numbers are, you're basically going like this to a brand manager or a person like, this is who I can give you access to. And this is what I can bring to you. Because that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to get their eyes to go, oh, I want to reach those people. And then what I did for quite a while, this was just a 2-pager front and back, and that's totally fine. Always contact info. People are busy. No one reads. Make it easy. Ideally a hyperlink. They can just click it. Open. They can email you. They can call you right there. Don't bury it or make it hard. And then I put examples of some things that I've done. Now, I'm going to tell you this, like, see this live TV one here on the top left? That wasn't paid for by a brand. You could put yourself speaking at a conference that you were at and just mention that you're a public speaker and that you lead conferences. You can put yourself in an art gallery with a bunch of like art curators and people, art appreciators and art educators, and say that this is something you do. It doesn't have to be a paid gig. You're basically like incepting the brand manager's mind and getting them to think about like, oh, okay, this person does these things. So if I was part of that event, you see what I'm saying? They're going to start to like picture themselves in your world and how you can bring them into your world and get them access to people. That's what this is all about. We're at every step of this whole partnership scenario. I won't even call it a game. we're making rain for them. We're making their jobs easier. We're giving them access to people that they want to reach. Just keep it real simple like that versus getting really hung up on it. For me, this was when I'm actually getting a new media kit. I do women's travel now, by the way. I know several of you know that, but I bring women to Italy on amazing food and wine trips. And we meet with women. It's very you go girl. We meet with women winemakers, women chefs, women artisans. It's like all about women supporting women. So if anyone's into travel, definitely follow me on Instagram. It's at Julie Hartigan, and you can sign up too. But so this was when I was like mostly doing Instagram-y stuff. My new media kit it's almost done. It's going to be more representative of like how I can represent travel brands or tourism boards. So I'm taking the same skill sets that I already had, but I'm translating them into the new world that I'm going to be in now as a travel leader. If you are in any community organizations, if you've been cited in any media publications, and it doesn't matter what field you're in, right? Like mine were food brands because I was doing all this stuff with food brands. If you're on your community council, if you're a member of a trade organization, if you're on a board of something, putting things like that on there, again, will give brands the concept of like, oh, so when she goes to her annual whatever event, she could be representing me or bringing me there or getting me access to that. So any little like trade logos or other partnerships you've done are good to put on here. And then I have a roundup, like what can you do for them? Make it real easy. You know, so for me with this media kit, it was like, I can write you recipes. I can take pictures of your food. I could bring you on air. I could put you on my YouTube show. For some of you, it could be, I can include you in my email list. I can feature you at my gallery openings or in my teachings. I can make you my preferred, you know, like inclusion in my courseware. If you're an online course person, if you're, Autumn is here. I know she does finance coaching, you know, like I mentioned with Mariah with the graphic arts, Quicken should be sponsoring you, or any budgeting app that you love to use, or any, right? Like any tool that you might already be referring your people to in your teaching and your coaching should probably be paying you something to be referring. You're going to do it because you believe in it, but you're bringing them rain, you're bringing them business. So just keep thinking about things that way. So I don't want to like, this was just like mine, but again, you could even have a one pager, but it's really just, and you don't even need a website with this. I'm going to just stop the share and come back to you all. Beautiful. So fun to see you all here too. I love just getting to meet new people. And I want to spend a little time now at the end, just like brainstorming with you, like how everyone's feeling. If anybody wants to be a, like, what do you want to, I'll call myself the brand whisperer. Like if someone wants to come live and hang out with me, we can like kind of get into it and workshop and come up with some cool brands that I think you could pitch.
So I'm so glad that you did this, you know, because I have an event, my small business boot camp for women, and I'm doing it live again this year. I hadn't done it live since the pandemic, since probably 2019-ish. I hadn't done it live. And so I'm going to do it live again this year. People have been asking about it. Now I have a sponsorship deck.
Ooh.
And, you know, my sponsorship deck, I'm going to pull it up so you can look at it. But, you know, it's more geared like towards the event. I'm going to find it, you know, because I did it myself and I did it on Canva. And, I'm one of those people, you know, I think a lot of people probably could benefit from you kind of critiquing what I've done. Sure. Right. And so I'm going to pull it up for you because usually I look for people to, this was for the 10th anniversary for the Small Business Bootcamp for Women. And I usually ask, you know, people to like maybe sponsor the event. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I could do something differently. And, you know, this was from a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So this was the sponsorship deck that I kind of put together, and it's kind of like 9 pages. It's just, you know, support female entrepreneurs and, you know, talk about diversity and inclusion because, you know, who it primarily consists of, you know, women of color, ages 25 and up. And at that point, I had like about 90,000 followers on Facebook. I think I'm up to like about 114,000. These are primarily business owners. So it's text, It's a little bit about the event. And this isn't like, these are like virtual, not live. But I
Mhm.
think that the ones that I was having was virtual at this. I don't know. I don't remember. But I talked a little bit about the event. Like this was the virtual one. So it was a
Mhm.
3-night event.
Mhm.
And then these are pictures from some of the live events that I had. I'm going back live again this year,
Cool.
but just pretty much, talking about us when I was founded back in 2012. Um, and then just a
Perfect.
sponsorship. So I don't have like a lot of information about the reach and all
Right.
of that stuff. So I
Uh-huh.
guess, like what could kind of come with the sponsorship and this and that and the other.
How did this go? Did you get sponsors? Did people nibble? How
I've
was
gotten sponsors in the past, but I've gotten a lot of things, a lot of people contributed to like goodie bags and things like that. So I did have like some of the email lists. At
this is
this point,
great.
yeah, this
I'd put that up closer,
up
up
front.
first. Yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
would bullet point the demographic, like who you're going to be reaching. I'd
Mm-hmm.
also talk about allowing them to come and present maybe their product, like if you wanted
Okay.
to, or have like a vendor showcase, but that they could pay for that. Because if I think about this, all the tools that small business owners need to use, you could, like I was saying, you could be reaching out almost like Autumn to the Collective, that bookkeeping service, or Quicken, or right, like any I'm trying to think what other things that are like common to all business owners. Email marketing tools like say Flowdesk or MailChimp, or why not, right? You could be reaching out to them and say, would you like to come and do a session on growing your
Let's
digital
see.
marketing?
What
But
else?
you're going to pay me, you're going to pay to get to come, because it's kind of like an advertorial. And
Mm-hmm.
if they're going to do that, you'd want to be able to like limit how long they went on, but then make sure that they're going to be adding value, not just selling. But we've all been at events where that's done, right? Where you're like, okay, I'm at this cool event and I know this is an event sponsor presenting, but they're still sharing tips. Like I actually follow, I used to use ConvertKit. Hopefully, I'm guessing a lot of you know all these names, right? All these different email marketing services.
Yeah.
I still follow them because they send great blog posts and great tips. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you were going for like the straightforward one.
Right.
I
And I
mean, there's
don't
no,
think this was the last one. I think this is like even a draft. I don't even think this was the final one. But I was on like the Working Woman Report and,
yeah,
I was on blackenterprise.com and I did get like awarded one of the top women in business blogs by FeedSpot,
yeah.
so
This
like
should
I
all be in your
guess
media kit,
it should
Tony.
be in, so I should reuse this, right?
What you can have is like an evergreen media kit that lists a lot of this stuff. And then that way it's something you can break out every time you want to approach a brand for any kind of sponsorship. And then instead, what you're doing for
The
this
one
event, for
event.
your boot camp, you're just going to reach out and say, hi, I have this amazing event coming up, and this is the typical attendance, and this is and you can also be selling them that you will be promoting them and linking to them in your sales emails about it, in your like in all the like event lead up, and in the follow up too. Link backs are really big. Everybody wants link backs to their website. A link back with a discount code that you're going to give from your audience. Like you could ask them to pay you for that, right? Like, oh sure, I'll put your product in front of my audience if you pay me. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's a product you believe in. I mean, that for me is always, I probably should have led with that, but I know you're all women of integrity. We're only going to approach brands we believe in, right? We're not going to work with stuff that we're like, we wouldn't, because you're recommending it. It's going to, we don't want to feel icky where we're like recommending something to somebody and you don't believe in it. That's not a good,
Right.
and it doesn't come
Right.
across authentically either, like why do that? We want everything to be authentic. But Tony, what
So
I would do is make a media kit out of a lot of that, and now you've got something you can use for every kind
all
of
the time.
opportunity.
Okay. And almost like for every opportunity that, they would have, like even in the weekly webinars and coaching, or
Mhm.
the monthly, events with, the whole world. And, when I do ads and all of that stuff on
Yep.
Facebook, the boot camp. All of these are different opportunities.
Mhm.
And I can put them in one media kit.
Right. Well, the media kit's summarizing who you are and who you're going to give them access to in different ways and what you do. Right. And then you're going to, like, in the email, you're going to present them with the new opportunities. You could bullet point it, like, here are options for you. An idea right out of the gate. I'm sure your Facebook group loves educational events, and you could create like a
A
panel of pros
specialized
and
education
cons of,
event. Yeah.
yeah, like pros and cons of this. I'm trying to think of I keep going back to bookkeeping for some reason. I was just thinking of a unifying thing. We all need digital marketing. We all could be social media scheduling tools, could be like tools I think are going to be great for you, right? I mean,
Okay.
obviously free stuff for the goodie bags is always fun, and a free location to have the event, because you're going to be promoting the heck out of them. So you could be thinking
Right.
about that. Like, think about ways to cut your costs, because that's more money in your pocket, which is basically being paid.
Right. Right. That's great. A couple of people raised their hand. I think Cam had raised his hand and Autumn raised her hand. So Autumn, if you wanted to speak, you can speak.
Yeah, Julie, thank you for all this insight. One thing that I started to put in the chat was like leveraging my teacher audience base. Even though I am a financial coach in my entrepreneurial endeavors and my 9 to 5 endeavors, I'm a higher education professional and I work with teachers, lots of them, like
Mhm.
thousands of teachers. And
Wow.
so what I'm thinking about is like, how do I leverage that space to get a brand, to get like reach that audience, and like not cross 9 to 5 boundary lines, if that makes sense too, at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, my head went right to Staples. Right? What teacher doesn't need stuff from Staples for their classroom? What's your contract with the districts, and like with your access points to the teachers? Like, what can you say or
What
do?
there is, I gotta look at my contract one more time, but there is like there might be a non-compete clause. There might be, but I am not under a contract with any districts. I work for a nonprofit
Oh,
institute of higher ed.
oh, girlfriend, that's cool. I mean, yeah, like, so you could be, my gosh, if you have, think about anything you recommend that they use, like whether it's something to keep track of their course curriculum, or design tools like Canva, or again,
What about a
Staples
planner? And
planners.
that way that could like merge into my financial coaching
Mhm, mhm.
piece too, because you got to plan. In order to get
Exactly.
your money right, there's got to be a plan.
Definitely. And planners are good. It's funny, I've been using a journal from a company called Intelligent Change, and I love it, by the way. It's the 5-minute gratitude journal. It's really great. And I'm not signed up to be an affiliate yet, because affiliate, you're kind of working to sell their stuff, but I've done affiliate things where it's just like dripped money into my bank account, and why not? We all want multiple revenue streams, right? And if it's something really easy and integrated, then why not? So yeah, Autumn, like a planner, a journal, I'm trying to think what other tools teachers would use. If there's any kind of software that you recommend that they get. I do still think Staples, but you could do some kind of like seasonal thing with them, maybe. Like, where you're showcasing how to use things from Staples in your teachings to the teachers, like in what you're presenting. And then Staples is like, oh, because you're reinforcing, like, and you can put the links to the products, you know what I mean? And they can pay you to be presenting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way. You just want to make sure that, I mean, I don't know where else they would go, Staples or Target, right? For like back to school supplies for their classroom.
Amazon too.
Mhm.
I guess what I'm wondering is like, how do I use the teacher audience for my financial coaching business? Because truth be told, education's great. I don't want to stay here forever. I'm trying to chuck the deuces. And so what I'm trying to figure out is how do I leverage what I already have
Yeah.
to promote what I'm trying to build.
Oh, I would do a thing on like making the decision between taking your paychecks over the summer, getting the payout. Isn't my mom was a teacher? Isn't there a thing where they can get paid all summer or they can like
Yeah.
so I would like use what you know about financial planning and create little mini courses or mini sessions geared to teachers. Planning for your retirement, obviously, right? Budgeting, budgeting your for your lunches. Like just think of lunches is silly, but do like think about like the use cases for financial planning that teachers have. Like what's on their mind, right?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna create little digestible bites of coaching for them so that they are like, oh, Autumn does that too. That's really cool. And then you have your website, and then you're like, I actually do a lot of financial planning. And I know as teachers, you're all working so hard, and depending on the district and your level and the number of credits you have, you might be like trying to make the dollar stretch really hard. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, there's a lot in the
Thank you.
chat. There's a lot in the chat for you too, Autumn. Tracy said how to write off all the items they buy for the classrooms. Betty said you can also reach out to teachers unions, especially if you're a member or know someone who's a member, or if they have monthly meetings and you could lead the training, how to stretch your paycheck over the summers, what Crystal is saying, or offer to do a free consultation or presentation, or stores that offer teacher discounts and things like that. So yeah, so that's good. And I mean, also too, I don't know if you ever thought about flipping it towards the youth that they serve, because there's a lot of need for financial literacy for younger people. And there's a lot of grant opportunities. There are a lot of like 21st century learning centers that would allow you to even, I was thinking about Rebecca as well, that would allow you to come in to the schools and do those lessons, and they will pay you. Or you can actually, if you want to eventually go on your own, you can create a program, after school program, and get a grant to do that, to pay for like everything and that. And you can find a school and you can run that program out of a school. So there are a lot of options that are not just for the adults, but there's a big need for the kids. So, that 1 degree shift could open up a lot of opportunities, even with curriculum development.
It's true. For parents too.
Yeah.
Creating something that the kids are using, but your credentials are on it, and the parents, like there's that kind of.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so and Betty also put in, check out Donor Choose, a fundraising platform for teachers and classrooms. She definitely sees an alignment for you there. So she also put that information. I think Cam had his hand up. I don't know if you want to ask a question. I think Renee has a question as well. So Cam and Renee, if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yeah. Hey, Julie. Hey, Tony. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Thanks so much for hosting this. So a question that I had was basically how difficult is it to like get the attention of a bigger brand? And I can even name the specific one.
Yeah, do it.
That I'm thinking of, because and this is kind of funny, but it's a thing. I've had this like hook for a song that's been stuck in my head for a couple months. I haven't actually written it because I don't have any of the verses, but the hook of the song that I have stuck in my head, it goes, black Crocs with the jeans and a black tee, bitch, I'm trying to get a deal with Old Navy. And so that's like totally my style. I got the black Crocs on all the time. I got the jeans and these like really soft t-shirts from Old Navy that are just my go-to. And so I've had this hook like stuck in my head.
That's
and
hilarious.
so my very specific question is, with a brand like Old Navy,
Yeah.
like how, because that's a pretty big brand. May not be a luxury brand, but it's a pretty big brand. So
Sure.
yeah, so like how difficult do you think it would be to actually get their attention?
Well, it's Gap probably, right? But you could try to get Old Navy.
Yes.
I
Mhm.
would start, well, you got to follow them. You got to start engaging with their posts. You've got to start tagging them and proclaiming your love for the t-shirt. And you can do it in a cool way. It doesn't have to be smarmy. It can just be like rocking my Old Navy tee. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing I go to. Like, it'll start to get them to pay attention. That's what my friend did. I mean, she went from nothing to like Casio. Like, she held a meeting with like the whole board just by doing that. By hanging out on their social media, commenting, tagging them in her stuff. Then she did the outreach. I think the thing that the lyric, just be careful, because I don't know how it works for you in the music industry with licensing and who owns the words and who owns the song, and if you record that track and if you perform that track and da 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 da. But if you put it on a t-shirt, that'd be kind of cute. Kind of meta. Old Navy t-shirt on an old, but it's not preposterous that you could reach out to them and get something for that, especially if you make it more like kind of meme like, and you get people singing it and really into it. You could perform it and tag them and be like, what do you think, Old Navy? I would be careful. Did you have a cuss word in there, Cam? I think you did. And I'm down with cussing, but I don't know if Old Navy is, so I'm not sure. You might want to like, they're pretty family friendly.
Yes. Yeah, I did have that thought too, which I can take it out. It's not like the song is ruined without
you can use
it.
the Kids Bop swap. Does any other mom here know Kids Bop? It makes me want to scratch my ears out. It's like the worst, horrible kid versions of every song you love, and just slightly different. So you're like, oh God, it's so bad. Did that help a little bit, Cam? So go for big, and like also go for Croc. You wear Crocs, you rock your Crocs all the time. You are an influencer, man. The way you carry yourself in your photos and stuff, for real. Just start tagging these brands, like comment, tag, send them stuff. If you make it, if you sing a hook with their name in it, send it to them. Maybe they'll reshare it. Even if they're just resharing it and you're building your following. Super cool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Heather has another question about how to approach a specific company. So go ahead, Heather.
So I have a friend who is like a business owner of a huge marketing company. And I want to approach, I don't even know if it's appropriate, but I'm interested in corporate sponsorship for my children's book. And I know that the marketing that they do is often about companies that are, looking at children's products and a whole range of things. So I'm trying to think of, I kind of hinted that I want to talk to her about corporate sponsorship, but I didn't say I want to ask her. Maybe she might be able to give me some ideas, but what if I do want to ask her? Like,
yeah, I'd do some research first. Like, I would be on her website looking to see what their client list is. If they're a marketing agency, they probably rep a bunch of places, just so you can. And also, like what I do with friends, I make sure that I just set the intention up front so they know, like, hey, I'd really love to talk to you. I'm working on this children's book. I would love to talk to you, just like talk shop. Can I take you to lunch and we're just going to talk shop, because I'm really brainstorming these cool ideas, and I'd way rather be supporting you in your career and incorporating the brands you work with and some random brands, and maybe if you don't mind, we can just like put our heads together and think about ways, I'm going to be doing a big book launch with this and really getting the word out about it to all these different communities. And I just think there's so much alignment with the brands you work with. I think there's ways I could help you. It's always all about what's in it for them. It's like kind of like everything in life,
Yeah.
but for real, right? Like, what's in it for them? I'm going to bring you rain. I'm going to bring you to a new audience. I'm going to grow your following. I'm going to get you more attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, and anything that's in it for you, Heather or Cam or me or anyone listening, there's something in it for them too. It's a currency exchange. So we're just going to focus on the part of what's in it for them. And then we start brainstorming and working together and coming up with what. So, I remember going to an event with my daughter. A friend of mine had put it on. She was working for some PR firm. And I can't even remember what the event was, but I know like Izzy Soda was a sponsor and some snack bar was a sponsor, and they had the balloon station. Like you could at your book launch have one of those brands sponsor the like photo wall or the snack baskets, or do you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like think peripherally around like what's going to be involved with you going out. If you're going to be going out and like reading it in bookstores and doing that kind of book tour, or if you're going to be going to schools, you could be saying like, oh, I can be bringing you along with me and giving you this audience to get them in front of
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Gosh, of course. Hey, Renee's had her hands up for a while.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yes. Hello. I am teaching a class with students and young mothers on braiding and hair care. So I'm going to reach out to different brands, and I have them Nourish and Shine, Designs Essentials, Shea Butter, and Carol's Daughter. So I was told that I need to send the number of followers that I have on social media sites, and also send the videos of some of the things that I've done. And I just want to know, is there anything else that you could help me with?
Sure. So you're going to tally up all the places, right? Like the social media, and like give the one number. Like on mine, it said 44K, and that was like Instagram, YouTube, email list, like all the everything, like everywhere you access anyone, you're going to add it all up into one big number, the biggest that you can get to be, right? For all of us.
Yes.
And then you're going to list all the different things and ways you can help them. Like all of those brands probably need content. So when you right out of the gate said you have cool videos, like realize that you're not just selling them ad space on your social media. You can be creating things for their social media.
Yes.
And if they're tagging you, you're going to get more followers, which means the next brand you approach is going to have to pay you more.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So it's like, what about elastics, like is it Kitsch or Goody, or do you know what I mean, like who do you use for like you were mentioning a lot of hair care products, but what about like tools, what about brushes, what about
That's also true. Yes. I could get in touch with those brands also.
They all need content.
Yes.
It's like the thing, I'm sure for many of us, we're like, I always need content. And sitting and editing it and figuring out what it is. So if you approach a brand and you can show them, and you can put that in your media kit too, Renee, like where you're putting, and again, just make it like a one pager on Canva with like who you are, all the people you can help them reach. And then you can just show some photos or a link to a video that you did, because then when it lands in someone's inbox, they can like check you out, they can get the gist, and then they can click on it and be like, oh, cool, look at this amazing braiding video she did. I want her to make one like that with our bottle in it.
Yes. I just want to ask you another thing. I'm trying to reach out to foster care services for foster children, especially when they leave the foster care system. A lot of them don't have job skills. And, I was wondering how I would put that into the social media kit.
That you want to reach out to them, you want to put in the kit, or do you want to, like, is this like a community service thing you kind of want to do? Like you want to help connect?
Well, I need them to sponsor it, because the foster care system is a non-for-profit organization. So somebody was telling me that if I get companies to sponsor with products, that some of them could even help pay for the classes and the facilities to have the classes at.
That could be cool. And it would be, not to be smarmy, but companies always need tax breaks, right? So that's what you're bringing them. And it's a feel-good one that they can then put on their promotional material. Like every brand out there wants to say how they're giving back and doing good, right? It's like they kind of are required to now. And thank goodness, right? Because for so long they were just like, let me make the money and I don't care about anybody else. Now they're like, I better actually show that I care about people. And maybe leaders care more now too, and they want to care. So you're bringing them that opportunity to shine in their community and look really good. So you're saying like, I'll help make this introduction. I'll help figure it out. I'll help, like introduce you. And I don't know if you're on any kind of like the board with like the foster care, or if there are any boards you could like get involved in, because then like, remember earlier, I don't know if you were on earlier, Renee, when I was looking at the media kit, you're going to put logos for anything you're in.
Oh, okay.
So if you're like part of anything, put that in there and then mention to a brand, like I can connect you with this nonprofit that I volunteer with, or that I believe in, or that I work with, and help make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like Crystal has her hand up, and I think she'll be the last for tonight.
Hi, good evening. This has been really very awesome to hear, because I'm a business strategist, but part of what I do with my business is I help business owners host their live events. And because usually I need them to be out front connecting with the people so that they get people to come back.
Mhm.
And this has given me some great ideas. I was really one comment was for the person who was talking before Renee, was that if you're going to do something at an event, one thing that's taken off, and I don't know why people are crazy for this, find a unique donut shop and have them host the donut wall.
Yeah, I've seen that.
A donut wall is a very unexpected thing where there's nothing but a wall of donuts, and that's like your dessert or something. I had two people do this at their events, and they went completely nuts. And then the sponsor got all kinds of business from the donut wall, to where people were like, well, can I pre-order this flavor? One lady did it with popcorn, and it was crazy. And all her popcorn, she was sold out. It was gone before she left. And then she was still had somebody there to even take orders for stuff that she had no more of there, and they shipped it. So that's one of the things. If you're doing a live event, food is always a great thing to have them sponsor, because people go crazy for it, and those sponsors really, they make back whatever they invested in your event anyway. But one of the things I've been trying to figure out as I'm listening to everybody talk, with me being a business strategist and the things I do, trying to kind of get an idea of brands to connect with. I was listening to everybody else, and my mind started spinning for everybody else. And I'm like, okay, well, what are ideas?
We're going to think about it. Tell me more about what kinds of brands you provide strategy for, and like what you do for them.
It's a little bit of everybody. I work with small and medium-sized business owners, and a lot of times I'm coming in, like I have a client who has a daycare center. And when I work with her, I'm coming in learning. I had to literally learn the daycare center industry, besides just sending my son to school, to a daycare center, and then help her pull her business together. So I'm looking for resources that business owners need. So I'm that resource person. So they spend less time trying to find what they need versus trying to go through it. So like my one client needed a pest control company for a building because we found a snake. And it was like, all of a sudden I found a pest control.
I'm picturing mice, roaches.
Yeah,
I live in Jersey City. We have raccoons in Jersey City too, and skunks. So
it just got funny that with the business owners, as I'm looking at the different things that they need for their business, I'm always trying to find them resources. So I'm everybody else talking, I'm just trying to get an idea of
brands. You're going to make a list. You're going to make a site. You're going to make a section on your site of preferred providers, recommended providers, and they're going to pay you for that ad space and that referral and that recommendation. I mean, make sure they're ones you do really love and believe in. Of course, you would never want to, but pest control, bookkeeping, tax prep for small business owners, insurance for their events. You can rental companies, if you have like a company that you love to go to for like renting tables or renting donut walls, or you're going to make like a directory. It's going to be your really cool, like, your strategy guide, what's the name of your business?
My company is Evolution Business Alliance.
Evolution Business. So it's like the Evolution's top 10 Evolution. I like a good, what's it called? With the one like the E and the E, I'm trying to think of what we can call it, but like, it's like a resource guide that you can offer as part of your services, and you can have it on your website. I mean, it's also can be used as like a lead magnet for you to get new business, right? You're going to have like new business owners. What about like business formation services, like that help people get their LLC and file, and like, just think about all the things that small businesses need. And if you become the person who's a conduit who says, I recommend this, 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 and this, the people you're recommending better be like giving you a little something for you to be recommending them, either a percentage of sale or like advertising to be in your book, right? But make sure they're businesses, of course, that you really would recommend and you love.
Okay. Because
How does that land?
I used to have a guy like that, but then what I do, they didn't charge people to, I never thought about charging anybody to be in it. What I was doing was, if I referred somebody to someone, I would ask that person that I referred to them afterwards, how was the service?
Always,
And
yeah.
he told me that the service was this, that, whatever. I would provide that feedback back to the company saying that you don't know what you're doing unless what you're doing, what you don't know how people are seeing you until someone else tells you. So, but if they didn't keep a certain score, I would take them out of the book.
That's
I
fair.
wouldn't do my listing because I'm like, I can't have my name associated with stuff that you're going to do crappy service, and that's not how I roll. So I can't.
Right. It reflects on you, and you don't want that, but no one should feel icky about this. I don't know anybody else who was raised going to church and you had the bulletin with all the logos in it. It's been around forever. But for you, because you're actually like doing business with this person and saying like, I want to make sure your business is set up right, but you're going to streamline things for them. I know for everyone here who's started a business, I think we all have, there are 20 things that you have to figure out, and you're asking every friend who's done it. You don't know where to go. You could be this like trusted source who can refer people to things, that's a big value add.
Thank you. That's some great ideas. Thank you. I'm sitting, got to write them all down real quick. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Before we go, please, everyone, follow me on Instagram. I would love to like stay in touch with you. And I also, like I was saying earlier, I do coaching in this area. I've coached several women entrepreneurs, like helping them write the pitch letters, helping them figure out which brands, helping them negotiate their worth. Because I know Cam, I love you, Cam, that you're here. If you're still here, I think most of the rest of us are women entrepreneurs. And I guess it's a challenge for a lot of humans to stand in their worth, especially when you're negotiating with a bigger company. So I'm really good at that from having worked in so many big companies. I'm like, they can more than afford you, and you need to ask this, not this. So I do assist entrepreneurs with that kind of thing. So if anybody has any curiosity about that or any need for that, or just wants like a little advice, just email me. It's I can put it in the chat. It's just hello@juliehartigan.com. And I think Tony and I are gonna send these notes out too. .com in the chat, and then I'm just at Julie Hartigan.
Yep, along with
website,
the chat.
Julie Hartigan. You're getting the jam. I was cooking with Julie for a while, and then I was like, I'm just going to go to a personal brand. You can't forget it, right? It's my name. There it is.
Yes. So I personally want to thank Julie for doing this. I know that you guys got a lot of value, and I want to thank everybody from signing up, everybody from Momentum, also some the folks from my Network for Women in Business. A lot of you know I have a Network for Women in Business. It's networkforwomeninbusiness.org online. And you can follow us at Network for Women in Business on Facebook as well. And I host a lot of these types of webinars, looking to have, some more of these. We used to have them on a monthly basis. We do weekly coaching with our members. Also, I wanted to let everybody know that I have a date set for our Small Business Bootcamp for Women. It's November 4th. It's going to be taking place in Manhattan this year at Trip by Wyndham. That's the hotel, and it's on 35th Street. So we will be there all day. I'm really excited because I haven't had a live event in a while. So this will be the first live small business boot camp since the pandemic. So I'm really, really excited about that. And I want to let you guys know about that. And anyone that's interested in Momentum, we will send information about that out as well. It's been just a great opportunity for personal growth and development with Momentum Education. And we do have scholarships for the basic workshop. So we'll be sending that information out as well. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I think in the end, looks like we have almost 20 people here tonight. And I know we had a little bit of mix up in time. Some people thought it was 9 and, I had a little bit of boo-boos there. But But thank you, Autumn, for catching that with the webinar. I did send an update for everyone, but we do have the recording, so you will have that. So for whatever information that you didn't receive, you'll be able to go back and view the recording. So thank you so much, Julie. This was awesome. Great information.
Thanks everyone for coming too.
Powerful.
Tony, thanks for hosting me. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to thank you too for introducing me to everybody, and thank you all for taking time out of your night to hang out and hear about this.
Yes, it's been awesome and definitely impactful and full of great knowledge and information. So you guys, thank you so much for showing up, and have a great rest of the night. And you'll be hearing from us really soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.